parents kicked me out and said, "Figure it out, Darky." But after my aunt told them just 4 words, they were begging me to come back. On the morning of my 18th birthday, I woke up to my parents shoving all my belongings into bin bags. "Your sister Eve needs her own room. It's time for you to move out." The thing is, Eve already had her own room, but she was a light-skinned girl who actually looked mixed race. Meanwhile, I was dark-skinned, taking after my mom's side, and that's all that ever mattered to them. But where am I supposed to go? Mom didn't even look at me. Figure it out, Darky. In the doorway, I saw Eve staring with tears in her eyes. We were always close despite how differently they treated us. She'd sneak me food when they forgot to set my place at dinner, which happened at least twice a week. But now, while our parents continued packing my life away, Eve wouldn't make eye contact. But as soon as they went downstairs to get more bags, she pressed something into my hand, a crumpled piece of paper with our aunt's phone number. "Call her. They said they'd kick me out too if I helped you." "I'm sorry." My hands were shaking as I stood on the sidewalk with 3 garbage bags of belongings. The door had already slammed behind me. I stared at that phone number for probably 10 minutes before finally calling. "Hello?" The voice was warm, nothing like Mom's. "Aunt Yolanda, this is your niece. Mom just kicked me out." There was silence. Then, "I'll text you my address. Come now." I'd never even known Mom had a sister. The moment she saw the garbage bags, her face changed. "What the heck? You don't know what just happened, do you?" I asked, voice shaking. She pulled me inside and I just broke. Everything poured out at once. The years of racist comments, being called Darky, watching Eve get everything while I got leftovers, literally having food withheld as punishment when the skin bleaching cream didn't work. "Eve tried to help," I sobbed. "She gave me your number. They threatened to kick her out too if she helped me." Aunt Yolanda had been holding me, but when I said that, her entire body went rigid. "They threatened both my girls?" The way she said both made my chest tight. Like Eve and I both belonged to her somehow. "How long have they been treating you like this?" "Since I was maybe 12, when I started getting darker and Eve stayed light." She opened her laptop with a snap that made me jump. The look on her face was something between rage and satisfaction, like someone who'd been waiting years to play their hand. "They're going to regret this," she said quietly. "They're going to beg you to come back." "How? They don't care about me." "Oh, sweetheart." She touched my face gently. "Your parents are about to learn something about themselves they never knew. Something I've kept hidden for 15 years. Before I could ask what she meant, she picked up her phone and called my mom. "Sister," she said into the phone, voice perfectly pleasant. "Family dinner tomorrow at my house. We need to discuss OP's situation." I could hear Mom through the phone. "Good. Maybe you can talk sense into her about getting a job instead of being a freeloader." The next evening, my parents arrived looking smug. Dad was actually whistling. They genuinely thought Aunt Yolanda had called them to say I was too difficult, that she was going to make me homeless. Eve was with them, looking pale and confused. She kept glancing at me, and I tried to give her a reassuring look. We were halfway through the main course when Yolanda set down her fork. "I've been meaning to discuss your finances." Mom actually laughed. "We're doing great, thanks. Richard just got another bonus." "Interesting." Aunt Yolanda pulled out her iPad, swiping casually. "Because your mortgage payment just bounced." Dad's fork clattered. "That's impossible. Must be a bank error." "No error." She took a sip of wine. "I stopped paying it, like I've been doing for 15 years. "What are you talking about?" Mom's voice was high-pitched. Aunt Yolanda started listing everything, still eating her dinner like she was discussing the weather. "Your salary, Richard, that bonus you just mentioned, doesn't exist. Eve's school tuition was paid by me. The cars in your driveway, my leases, your medical insurance, Mom's prescriptions, the country club you love so much, all paid for by me." With each revelation, she pulled up the receipts on her iPad, sliding it across the table. "You're lying." Mom's face had gone white. "You're making this up." "Am I?" Aunt Yolanda picked up her phone. "Let me call Richard's boss." She put it on speaker. A man answered on the second ring. "Hi, Tom. It's Yolanda Taylor. Can you confirm Richard's employment status?" "He's never worked here, Ms. Taylor. As you know, you pay us to maintain that fiction." Eve made a sound like she'd been punched. We both did. Mom stood up. "You don't have a job?" she yelled at Dad. "Then where have you been going every day?" His knees were buckling. "We can talk about that later." "No." Mom was furious now. "Are you still meeting up with Jasmine?" Dad went even paler as soon as her name was mentioned. Eve suddenly chimed in. "What does she mean, Dad? Is she talking about my 18-year-old best friend Jasmine, the one who's pregnant?" I looked back at Aunt Yolanda, who was getting ready to do something none of us saw coming. Full story on channel, link below.